That's the crux of the matter.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know whether to think or to say. Victor Baribote, the former chairman, has acted in unison. I don't think he's carried other members of the previous board that was, that was sent away.
Okay, let's see if we can just pick it out. He said, we refer to the attached letter dated 19 July 2013.
Yes.
The author of the letter alleges that several actions taken by the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, Executive Committee, are inconsistent with the NFF statute. So there's a certain inconsistency. Which are these inconsistencies?
They do recognize NFF. But whether NFF here in Nigeria is accepted over, largely, I don't know, because there is this issue of nomenclature, NFF, NFA. There is the issue before the House of Assembly. Those are things that we need to clarify, and those are things that the FIFA body would have to look into, because there have been court judgments to that effect before Justice Abang, before Justice Okorua, even before Justice Donatus Okoronkwo. All these are things that FIFA would be looking into, and we need to clarify these issues for our football to move forward.
So okay. I think the issue Baribote is trying to raise.
Yeah.
Because this is Baribote's
letter. This is a complaint of misconduct and acts capable of bringing football in Nigeria into complete disrepute and ridicule by Alhaji Aminu Megere, the president of the Nigerian Football Federation. Here he says
my doubt is he's sending this as an individual.
No, he's not an individual. He's a vice chairman of the board. As a vice chairman of the board before he was removed. Not as an individual. Okay. He said, I am the president proprietor of NEMBE, which is a stakeholder.
He's a stakeholder.
Of Nigerian Football Federation, Bayelsa State, and the Premiership club in Nigeria. So he's a club owner. So that is why he's writing this. Exactly. He said, I wish to formally lodge this complaint to your office to look into matters, seriously, as the above mentioned name, has virtually hijacked the functions. You understand?
Is referring to the constitution of the league management, the registration of the league management committee to administer the league.
Okay.
He's saying that at variance with the statute that set up the MPL.
Because he said they have a statute.
Exactly.
But if we look at it, the members of the former board, did they also give their consent to the establishment of the league management company?
Some way, somehow they did. I mean, the club owners, some way, somehow
came together and
participated in the process that brought about that particular LMC. And the LMC came in, and they have also been, at loggerheads with the present board. The LMC right now, they have issues with total promotions.
No, those are contractual issues. Okay. We're looking about the statutory issues here, and then we just brought this to your notice so that another how do I say it? We thought we have peace in the house already, but then sometimes you ask yourself, is justice and whatever is carried out, what is it done? No matter the name of it. We looked at it seriously on this program when the Baribote board was removed, and we looked at the statute that established the articles, league. And we said those articles, from what we saw, we brought experts, and they said no, it was not met. For you to have an emergency meeting, certain days have to be done. The processes were not followed. 90 days, and then those things were done. So we hope that this somewhere along the line, maybe the coming of FIFA. And then always we have been consistent here. We tell you it is Nigerian Football Association. We have never said NFF is illegal. But we have said for now they still remain Nigerian Football Association. Because the process of name change has not been done. We have to try to be consistent in this. And that is what we have tried to do. So when the Alhaji Megere now went to sign in that document as chairman of Nigerian Football Association, which is signature and everything that said, which is what they are, then that is where we are seeing these inconsistencies. We hope that probably also we have members who are in the National Assembly so that these things could be trashed out. Other federations, other ones change their names. They don't have to go through all this just because of what is there. The swimming is a federation, athletics is a federation, boxing is a federation. They were all associations before like football. So let us get it done and get it right. And those of us, they will also try to report, maybe if we educate ourselves. But then that is it there because we have Mr. Rugby in the house. Interesting. what is the state of rugby in Nigeria today?
Well, presently, rugby has, we've had almost 8 months of rugby activities, which, in a sense, we've been waiting for the concession agreement to lapse. Now, this
what's the concession agreement?
Basically, rugby is one of the 11 sports federations which were concessions 4 years ago. And on the 9th of June, the concessioning, lapsed. The agreement signed between the concessionaires and the National Sports Commission. Now, thereafter, there has to be either a renewal or you get back to what is expected of all sporting federations. So, by and large, ever since that period of time, everybody is in the limbo, just waiting to hear from the National Sports Commission and the Honorable Minister as to which way forward. Because, those who had the concession are now like, we can't really get to do that much. We're expired. And people wouldn't want to sign any contract with them. How long did this
concession last? How long did it
4 years it did.
For 4 years, it was concessioned?
Yes.
And then what was the level of activities during these 4 years? Has it been good to rugby, or, in your own estimation?
Well, in my own estimation, you had it was comme ci comme ça.
Okay.
You had a situation where mostly foreign-based players, were representing a national team, and they tried to do Nigeria proud. Unfortunately, we didn't get to qualify to the levels to which we wanted to, vis-a-vis the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, and we got some like on the rankings, the FIFA ranking you have the IRB rankings. Nigeria jumped 11 points. That's I think would be the high points you have.
Yeah, okay.
However, on the domestic scene, which is in Nigeria, we've not actually had so much of activities, especially in the last 4 years. Rugby has not been a national sports festival. Now that is the main development. If you remember some 8 years ago when we had rugby featuring in Ogun and subsequently in Kaduna, you had the game spreading, to new states of the federations, and you had rugby players being employed, and then coaches also been employed. Now in the last 3 to 4 years now, rugby has been, knocked off from the selected sports festival, you call it now. And by so doing, these athletes have actually lost their jobs. The coaches, the same thing. Now, you need to be able to have rugby in Nigeria before you can represent rugby on the international scene. And we're really saying to the National Sports Commission, who are the custodian of the National Sports Festival, to, please look into this kind of things. First of all, you said the 20 sports were selected on the basis of them being Olympic sports, and then the traditional sports, Nigerian sport, 19 of them plus 1. Now, rugby is now an Olympic sport.
Yeah, okay.
And we're calling on the National Sports Commission and the Nigerian Olympic Committee, they've helped a lot in bringing peace to Nigerian rugby. Please go the step further and put rugby back onto the National Sports Festival. It's only on that basis do we really have meaningful rugby development.
That is what I want to ask you. Maybe even my colleagues too, maybe they also like ask 1 or 2 questions. But what I want to ask you is this: you're looking at participation at the Olympics, other festivals, international competitions going on. How the football thrives in this country because of mass participation.
Mm-hmm.
How populist is rugby? And in this period of concession, was that area neglected, where people have to take to the sport before you can excel?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, during this period of concession, the spread of rugby actually dwindled.
Okay.
Because you are now talking about foreign players. Players in England, representing Nigeria. Yes, they have the right to represent Nigeria. I mean, you can imagine what Keshi is doing for the Super Eagles right now with the home base. Now, if you don't groom them from Nigeria, how then do we encourage Nigerians to be involved in that sport?
To take part in the sport.
It's not because I happen to have schooled abroad, so it's a privilege. So you neglect the rest of us who are in Nigeria here. Before now, say for instance, when we are in Ogun, we're about 8 states.